Pandemonium Reigns.
Yo, welcome back to episode 2 of the day, episode like 16 or 17 or 18. We're getting up there, bro, in the episode count. Pandemonium Reigns, baby, and it's a special OrangeCast episode here to talk Tennessee and Akron. Thank you so much for letting us tickle those ears, because is it safe to say that Tennessee tickled Akron, or is that like too far?
I don't think it's too far. Akron wanted to fight, man. They didn't want to play football. They wanted to fight. And we gave them 63 points for it. I wish we'd kind of kept going. It's fine. Not too far.
Okay. Well, recap there. We gave them heck, as Philip Fulmer would say. We gave them boys heck. But, you know, as on our previous episode, we talked about a win coming at a cost. So I just want to go ahead and nip this conversation piece in the bud real quick. Tillman and Jabari Small, two dudes who we just did not need to get in hurt. And this is one of those games where you get in and you get out healthy. And again, before we kind of get deep into this conversation, I was a little pissed off in the third quarter. I'm going, listen, there's something in the air tonight with the injury thing. Get Hooker out. Get these dudes. Why is Jalen Wright still carrying the ball in the third quarter when Small is sorry? We just kicked off this episode. I just need to apologize to fans. But why is he still in there? Small's hurt. You've got a Sampson and a Williams Thomas, who are freshmen behind him. Our running back stable is not deep.
Nope.
We can't afford this.
Sure
What the
can't.
heck? Get him out.
Yeah. One of my biggest issues with the game, because you'd already seen Tillman go down in the second quarter. Saw Jabari Small go down in the second play of the game or so. Why you risking a running back? I mean, put the walk on in the third quarter. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating here. The game's over. You don't need to prove anything. The only thing that I could even argue was that they're just continuing to increase the contact for Jalen Wright, but it's not that crucial in this moment of the third quarter of the Akron game.
No doubt.
It's really not. Apparently Sampson, I guess Williams Thomas got more time there late because Sampson, I don't know if something happened with him. But yeah, this, the only thing that could have been worse is losing this game. If you lose Tillman for even one game,
yeah.
If the other three scholarship running backs are healthy, you can afford Jabari Small a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But when you target Cedric Tillman 18, 20 times against Pittsburgh, and he makes a lot of key plays on those targets, you can't lose him even for 1 week, whether it's Florida, whether it's another SC team. You just don't need that. You really don't.
I hear you. So for our listeners, 99.9% of the time, Michael and I are in agreement. See, I think Tillman in this scenario between the two is a little more or a little less valuable because of the depth at the position. We still have a Jalen Hyatt. We still have a Brew McCoy, at least don't know what's going on yet, a Jimmy Callaway. Anyway, there's just not dudes behind Small, though, other than Wright. Dylan Sampson's just not proven yet. He's only seen action against Ball State and Akron. If I have to choose between the two, this is going to sound crazy, I think, to a lot of Tennessee fans, but give me Jabari Small, just because I think that running game is going to – listen, Hooker can sling it. He can – and Hyatt can take the top off. Brew brings the physical standpoint. I'm not saying that Tillman's not a good player, but we're just much deeper at that position. But needless to say, I know that you, my boy, are going to be refreshing Twitter like constantly until Saturday comes, getting injury updates on Jabari and on Cedric.
Yeah, it's a frustrating search. If you're a Twitter user, it's a frustrating search to search Cedric Tillman's name. And he had a tweet, a lot of guys were not happy with those Akron players. And I'm not even going to get into it. like I didn't like what I saw from Akron. Really, there's a reason DJ Irons is at Akron and not Auburn or somewhere else, because he's talented and he's big and he's athletic. But there's a reason he's at Akron, and it's beyond a cluttered or full quarterback room. It is a lot of mental game for DJ Irons, because apparently he was sitting around jawing with anyone he could get his mouth at for Tennessee after the game, and Tennessee players were being held back and things like that. Just a clown show. The game was a 57-point difference. You lost by 57, and you're one of the worst teams in football. Go home. I'm sure you got paid to come to town. Go home. But yeah, and just to reiterate, the only reason I say that about Tillman over Small, and I can certainly see the value of Small, you need his pass blocking if he's not even giving it to you in the run game.
Right.
But it's just how many targets Cedric gets and is going to get. That's the only reason. But I do stand by it, and it's just that trust, I would say, between him and Hendon.
I totally get it. I feel that I would be in the minority on that stance anyway. But you're exactly right on Irons. He's a heck of a ball player, but he just doesn't have it between the ears. He's a bit of a basket case. And you know what? Aaron Murray the commentator for that game on Saturday night kept making jokes about him being in the transfer portal. But you know what? There might be a reason he's at Akron, like you said.
Yeah. You can't convince me otherwise. And you look at the Auburn situation, you tell me that DJ Irons couldn't play at Auburn right now. I just think there's much more of a reason than, again, a full body of quarterback room, or it being cluttered and him getting beaten out. Maybe he got beaten out, but I don't like the kid, the way his attitude was at all.
I'm with you. Well, on the topic of DJ Irons, let's talk about him for a second. He completed 32 balls on 44 attempts, good for 240 yards. Now, if you look at this and you're a Tennessee fan, you're going, oh my gosh, no, this kid threw for 240. Anthony Richardson's going to throw for 600. They were behind the whole game. They had to
whole game.
They had to throw.
They netted 35 rushing yards. What are you going to do? Keep running it? I mean they had to throw. Now he did complete more than you'd want to see him complete on 44 attempts. But again, Tennessee's playing a little bit softer. Warren Burrell, for all the discussion, for all the drama with his play over the years, was not available. And it went deeper than just Christian Charles and Kamal Haddon. I mean, we played some legit bodies starting in the second quarter at cornerback.
Christian Harrison early as the second quarter.
Yep. Early in that game. And hey, I love it, because it was talked about how bad this Akron team is. They were not going to push Tennessee. And I would say that the most damage they could have done was completing 32 of 44 attempts from the starting quarterback. I mean, truly, that's about all they could do. I know he wasn't 100%. He did extend plays with his legs, but he never really came close to hurting you with his legs. I'm sure he picked up a first down here or there, but an efficient game overall for Irons, but a lot of bodies getting in the game, which I love for Tennessee.
Defensively, a lot of bodies defensively. So that brings me back to my problem is, why weren't we doing that offensively? Yes, we win a series where Jimmy Callaway caught 3 straight balls, but he's off the field because he's punching a dude in the helmet, which doesn't make a lick of a sense. Why aren't we rotating? Like, why didn't we see Walker Merrill earlier? What's the issue with handing off to Jordan Williams-Thomas in the second quarter? I mean, did we feel like we had to secure it that badly? Was it not already over? I just don't get this. Were you trying to cover the spread?
Yeah, great questions, and I have answers to none of them. The only thing that I can even begin to guess is, like I mentioned, with wanting to get right contact because of the fumble issues, because of now the instability of Jabari Small's health, and because of the time that Jalen Wright has notably missed in camp due to his injuries concerns. But it wasn't that crucial against Akron in the third quarter or even late second quarter. There's no reason, and understand this, again, we talked about this before, but if a back starts a drive and it's not late in the game, they are finishing the drive unless they get hurt on that drive. They're finishing the drive. Tennessee's not going to sub unless something just gets weird. They're not going to sub. So that's a big part of it, but not an excuse. Again, no excuses for the usage of the running backs in this game.
Exactly. Well, I guess let's go ahead and just spin this into some positive limelights, and let's talk about the activity that went on in Akron's backfield and how much we were just setting up shop back there. What were the numbers? I'm really counting on you right here. How many TFLs did we have? Do you know this?
Ooh, I know we got into double digits. I think it's 11. Let me see if I can confirm that really quick.
No, it's 11. I knew this in the back of my head. I wanted to see if, dude,
My
11.
man.
And the conversation coming out of Ball State was, holy crap, can we get to the quarterback? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Feel like I'm running an Obama campaign. Yes, we can.
4 more sacks for Tennessee in this game, man.
Yeah, dude. Give it against a Q who can move.
Yes, exactly. It's not like they played the backup there who wasn't as mobile as Irons. 4 sacks, 2 for the youngster Elijah Herring.
Yeah, bro.
On one drive. How about that drive for Herring?
Yeah, dude. Give it to me. Dude looks physical. Violent hands, low pad level. I love it. And that he's a true freshman. Give it to me.
All day long. Your other sacks coming from Bryson Eason and James Pierce Jr. And boy, did I like what I saw from James Pierce Jr. and Joshua Josephs, man. I'm talking about if the play went outside their way, they were cutting back. They were coming upfield. They were great in pursuit, man.
Yeah, bro. Good angles. Loved what I saw from them. Think they're going to have fantastic Tennessee careers and very solid freshman years. Man, I hope so, and I am here for it. All right, let's keep moving our way through the Tennessee defense here. Aaron Beasley doing his thing again. Jeremy Banks had a good night, responsible for that fumble in the red zone. And I just can't say enough about Aaron Beasley right now. I know that we talked about this previously on the last episode, but he is looking like last year's Theo Jackson at the linebacker spot, and that is just so huge. He's violent, and when he shoots the gap, man, he does it full speed.
His hair is on fire right now. It's like you listen to every bit of Tennessee offseason coverage where people are talking about how well Banks has played and how solid he's been as a linebacker coming in as running back. He did the same thing, mind you. It's like he took all that personal, man. He's Michael Jordan right now with the iPad in his hands. I took that personally, and he's playing incredibly well. He's playing his best football.
Yep.
And he's a linchpin of this defense right now.
Dude, it's remarkable. I mean, you know, again, this Akron game, very comparable to the Ball State. So you can't make a lot of judgments, assessments, so forth and so on, but you can judge effort. You can judge, how fast a dude is shooting the gap, how hard he is in pursuit of the ball carrier. And I really like what I'm seeing from Aaron Beasley right now.
100%.
Moving to the next level, thought our safeties played well.
Had a much better bounce back game from that Pitt game. I know where you're going. That was Akron, but
that's where I'm going. Yep.
But the angles will translate from game to game. If you take a bad angle against Pitt or Akron, you're probably going to get ran by. You have a chance to anyway.
Yeah.
They played a lot more sound, I thought. Especially McCullough. He was kind of everywhere there for times in that game.
He was responsible for a TFL or two, wasn't he not?
He was, yeah. And I know Flowers had a flag for pass interference. He did arrive just a hair early, but again, I like where he's at. He's around the football. Again, I think a bounce back game for both those guys.
Yeah, I like it. A lot of bodies, like you've already mentioned, rotating in and out at corner. Christian Charles and Kamal Hadding getting that start. I'm going to sound like a broken record. Good play, but I almost made a word right there. Very inferior of how now brown cow. Very inferior opponent, which, you know what, our front seven really made it difficult on the Q, so made the corner's job easy on the night. But liked what I saw. Again, liked that guys like a Christian Harrison and Brandon Turnage got to see the field early. So I don't know. You have an assessment there, or any kind of additional comments on the corner?
Nothing crazy, just due to who we played, and due to how much leniency they had with how far off the ball they were playing at times, not the entire game like it was against Ball State. And
Right.
Akron also didn't get the ball out as quickly as Ball State, which led to some of those pressures and sacks. But yeah, overall, I'm pleased with what I saw. They look to be improving when they're kind of exposed in an area. They look to improve much quicker than they have in the past in that area.
Absolutely. Waiting to see how this season unfolds and if this rotation continues. I know that it didn't against Pitt, but interested to see how this cornerback position goes forward throughout the season when, for example, if Florida comes to town or when we travel down to LSU. All right, let's flip on over to the other side of the ball and let's talk offensive line. And I'm going to make a comment, and I need you to not hate me for this.
Promise.
Because
I promise.
I've been holding this in since the Ball State game, and I just kind of wanted to see if it was coming to fruition, and I feel like it is. So, offensive line, I don't like it. You have to do better on the ground than what we did. Yes, Wright had almost 100 yards, but he carried the ball 23 times, right?
Yeah.
Dylan Sampson had 57 yards, but 2 of those plays came off of a speed option when in which he was able to turn the corner. And then you've got some dude with the last name Wilk. I'm sorry, bro. I don't even Patrick. Okay.
There's your walk on, Patrick Wilk.
Yeah. So I just don't feel like we ran well. The holes against a inferior Akron were not there. And this concerns me. So here's my comment. This feels like 2012 where we can sling it all over the yard, but my Lord, if we need a yard or two, it's hold your breath.
I'm with you. And I'm with you probably even more because I don't remember what Jim Chaney wanted to do. And I know we had receivers and a quarterback who could get it to him and he could throw it. I would like to see a throwing competition. Who can throw it further between Tyler Bray and Joe Milton, just for the record. But
Joe Milton.
Yeah, Joe Milton all day. There's on his knees, he might outthrow most quarterbacks.
Yeah, he can outthrow God. Maker of heaven and earth.
Oh, you blasphemer. I'm kidding. Yeah, dude, I don't like the play calling. It just and again, Akron, Ball State, yada yada. It feels like it's about 3 or 4 plays, and I'm fine with that if you execute. I really am. Sure. I don't need to see a wide open playbook. I don't need to see all these things like we've complained about and ran into in the past.
Right.
But it feels so just repetitive and redundant, and you're not executing it against Ball State and Akron, let alone Pitt. And you're winning through the air. You're making winning plays through the air. And even the average, if you look at that, it was above 5 on Saturday night. Left a lot to be desired. That is a winning number if you could do that. But how do you think it's going to go if Tennessee tries those same middle runs, A gap, B gap against that big lard that Florida's got in the middle of that defensive line?
It's not going to go well. It's not going to well, which I'm really glad you asked me this, which is why I believe that we put that speed option on tape. Because think about this. We, in the Ball State, go back to the Ball State game, twice in the red zone, we ran either a zone read or a read option with Hooker, and he was able to get him with his legs. I think that was to put that on tape for Pitt. I can't remember if we actually did this against them. But, I mean, honestly, against a Ball State, you should be able to say, all right, trap left, trap right, whatever, counter gap, or halfback dive through the A gap, touchdown. Should be the case. But we decided to put a speed option on tape, which makes me think, okay, we're giving Florida more to prepare for to hopefully open up for those more, for lack of better words, basic runs through the A and B gap. Don't be surprised. I know that I say this a lot. If we give a look that starts out like a speed option and it turns into Hooker shooting straight through the A gap, or a speed option and Princeton fan is actually coming across and it's going to be a dump, to him or something. But I'm not happy with our ability to run. I say what I have said. It feels like 2012 when we couldn't run on a Montana or whoever it was, but we could sling it. We could sling it to Hunter. We could sling it to Cordell Patterson. And in this case, we can sling it to Tillman. We've got a plethora of dudes that we can throw it to. But if it comes down to running it, if we get into a 4th and short situation against Florida and the game is going to be decided on that play, I'm just telling you now, I don't know that I'm going to be able to look.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be right there with you. And oh man, just not a good thing to think about at all. I will say this: some of the commentary as we approached the Georgia game a year ago, you had Cade Mays telling Cooper as the center, Cade being the right tackle a year ago, don't back up when you're facing Jordan Davis. Don't take a step back. And I liked the idea of having Jordan Davis on the field with our tempo and going side to side. Not that Tennessee could have beat Georgia a year ago, and nor could they probably this year. But give me that big guy in the middle having to deal with this tempo. I guarantee you the SEC. I'll tell you this. Here's my bold prediction: a few days out, the SEC offices, Greg Sankey Incorporated, they're going to have some film of some fake injuries for that big guy in the Florida defense because he's going to be sucking air.
Yay.
And he's not a bad player. I'm not saying that, but he's going to be exhausted. So I'll be keeping my eyes posted. I'll be watching the way you get off the field and how soon you're back on the field.
This is a conversation that we need to revisit because if the conference with the NCAA never does anything about this fake injury thing, Heupel is going to have to consider his offense.
He is. I agree, because the tempo is good when it works. It really is. And it helped Tennessee a year ago, and it's helping them now. But I mean, if you can fake an injury and get as many timeouts or half the amount of timeouts that Ole Miss got a year ago, you have to change. You got to change.
Yeah. Well, in regards to the offensive line, don't like our ability to run. Don't hate our ability to protect the Q, though. Very weird how this is working out. Again, reminiscent of 2012. Let's move our way outside on the offense and let's talk receivers. There was a voodoo magic spell in the air. You and I were texting, and I believe you said this before Tillman actually got hurt. Get him out. It's coming, right? And of course, the worst case scenario happened. We think we're probably going to get him back. Don't know that we're going to get him back by Saturday.
Yeah,
but
it looks to be an ankle and not a knee. Not that you want to avoid the ACL. You don't want an ankle or a high ankle sprain, but you want to avoid the ACL at all costs because that would be his season. He's already not a burner as a receiver. He's good at getting separation. He's a good route runner, but he's not absolutely a burner. So he doesn't need hits to that speed for his longevity in his pro career. And it's going to be ridiculous and stupid, but all the eyes are going to be on his 40 time when pro day comes and when the combine comes. It's just going to be stupid is what it's going to be because he's going to ball out, I think, in the NFL. But again, the receivers aside from that, and I think I was probably saying that following the first speed option touchdown because he took that awkward hit from Dylan Sampson, unfortunately, going into the end zone. And it was truly awkward. I think in both cases, his foot was probably planted when he took the hits or the contact, which is just not ideal because that really puts a lot of tension on, in this case, I guess his ankle, because I certainly thought it was his knee and haven't slept a moment since. Just kidding. But I've not felt great since. But
right.
Yeah, I was wanting him out of the game after that speed option that Sampson scored on there, his first touchdown. Not sure why we played so many guys as long as we did. Even Jalen Hyatt, I mean, we saw him do the things we want to see him do. I mean, he took a short pass to the house. He got it wide open on that switch wheel situation that we run so often. We know how fast he is. Florida knows how fast he is. Everybody knows how fast he is because he's been doing it for 2.5 years. Get him out of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You were talking about the Tillman speed, saying he's not a burner. I was going to say, who is a burner?
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt is a burner, which is great look at the value in a guy who can take off the top of a defense. Look at Alabama last year. Look at them now. They don't have a guy, at least right now, who can take the top of a defense. And if we can keep that where that keeps defenses like a Florida in a too high safety look, that should help our ability to run. We've said what we've said about Jalen Hyatt. We did not mention his stats. 5 catches, 166 yards. My goodness. Listen, one thing before we move on to Brew, he catches that slant and he's gone. He's gone. Glad to see he's having the year that we thought he was going to be having, right? Going into the season.
Absolutely.
Brew McCoy didn't get the targets, didn't get the catches, got a couple flags, at least one. He's
one of the worst calls I've seen all season long.
Yeah. Extremely physical, which if that ball is behind the line of scrimmage, it's a different story. Love his physicality. If I'm Coach Heupel, I'm saying, listen, just be aware, but do not lose your physicality. Just kind of be aware, which you can't because ball's behind you.
Yeah.
And so if I'm Heupel, I'm saying, you know what? Stay physical. We'll eat the yards, But a little disappointing through the lens of Brew McCoy not getting he only got one catch for 9 yards. So a little disappointing there, which moves us to a early ball that Squirrel White got, which again, so there's a guy. Okay. Here's a guy who got in.
Yep.
Why is he the only one?
I don't know.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but heck of a ball, heck of a catch.
Heck of a catch. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how he brought that pass down. He is going to be so fun to watch. He almost housed a punt. He somehow found a way to catch that ball from Hendon Hooker. And the one thing that you can say about Squirrel is his size. He doesn't have a ton of it. And tough catch with a guy in his vicinity. I don't know how he did it. I already almost want to see him at punt returner against Florida already. I'm very close to saying that. I don't know yet. It's tough to say put a freshman back there. Is the only reason I'm hesitant, but he's going to be so fun to watch.
Absolutely.
So fun to watch.
Absolutely. We'll get to special teams, so I don't want to tackle that yet. All right, so let's move inside. We've talked backs a little bit. Anything else you want to say about our running back stable?
Nothing too much more. I will say I like that we did show the speed option, and I agree with what you're saying about showing the read option in week 1 for Pitt, showing the speed option for Florida. All these things should be stuff that they have to be thinking about as they're trying to execute against the tip of Tennessee. And I hope we call every single variant of those plays against Florida, because it seems like it's been very, very low usage on some of these plays. But Sampson's speed looks to be potentially as advertised. I really liked what he showed there on the speed options. I think Justin William Thomas is going to come along fine in his career.
Yeah.
And I think Jalen Wright's going to be fine. He leaves a little bit to be desired for me with his vision, but he's young, and I think it's going to only improve from here.
Sure. Absolutely. Back to the speed option thing just for a second. I really think, and I have no way of being proven right or wrong with this, but I really think that the speed option was put on film to attack Brenton Cox. He seems to be tunnel visioned. He's eyes on the cue, full speed. And so I'm hoping that Heupel's going, okay, I got something for that. Hey, watch this, right?
Yes.
Yeet skeet. So first you yeet him, then you skeet him. All right, so let's talk Hendon Hooker for a second. Kind of going, okay, hang on. How do I want to word this? Hooker so far in 3 games kind of feels like Oregon on the season, as in, I'm not real sure what I'm getting with you yet, bud. Your starts have been pitiful.
Bad starts.
Pitiful. I mean, you're getting it together, but I don't want to allow Florida any kind of points early. I don't think we can afford. I don't think we can afford to go 3 and out on the first 2-3 possessions against these guys. Don't give Anthony Richardson any confidence. Put Anthony Richardson in pressure situations, put him in shootout situations, make him feel this constantly.
Absolutely.
Don't ever let him look up to the scoreboard and go, "Oh, we got a 10-point lead here."
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And it's weird to look back at the Akron game and think that he just threw the ball 18 times. I would have told you that he probably threw it 20, 25 times, just the way my gut felt. But it's also easy to forget how early he did come out. But just some of these throws, man, the way he's throwing them to me higher than they should be. I thought by far the Hyatt touchdown, the slant, was his best pass of the game because Hyatt is blazing fast, and he hit him between the 1 and the 1 in Hyatt's number 11. Great pass, best of the day for me. But I just need to see him iron these passes out. There's a chance. I don't know how this Florida game is going to go, but there's a chance that you could have guys running open in the secondary. I'm not going to say that it's going to be like we've seen so far, but they're not the Florida of old. They're not exceptionally deep in that secondary. I'll give you some numbers on our OrangeCast previewing this game about them, but they're not Florida of old.
This is not a Muschamp defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if the guys are open, I don't need them waiting around for the ball to come down like how it was on the first touchdown, or Tillman needing to go as high as he was to make those catches. I don't need those things. I just need them crisp. And I think you could win this game going away if you're crisp and efficient and you play your best game of the season, because I don't think we've even approached that for Hendon or many of these guys. Some of these defenders for sure have played well, but offensively, we've not been 2021 at all. No,
he's going to have to start better, and maybe you've got to get him a couple runs to get some contact. Maybe you got to, I don't know, get some balls downfield. I don't know what you have to do to get him comfortable, but I don't like how long it's taking.
Agreed.
At all. Let's stay in the quarterback. Let's stay in the pocket, and let's talk Joe Milton just for a second. Hey, he's got more touchdown passes than Anthony Richardson.
Hey, did you know? I think you and I have the same number as Anthony Richardson. That's kind of crazy.
Fact
and we've
check.
Got less tackles and interceptions. Wow.
Holy smokes! Can y'all fact check this, please, listeners? Fact check. So, Milton, just for a second. Oh, the Anthony Richardson. He's going to have a Heisman campaign, and you and I are going to be there.
I'm just prepared for it. Yeah, just prepared for it. Mm-hmm.
Y'all pray for us. We'll be there. We'll be in white. Come find us on the television. So, Joe Milton. This pass to Ramel Keaton, let's talk about this. The guy rolls out of the pocket, which I'm not even sure he really needed to do.
Agreed.
Slings this thing. He hardly turns his hips from the opposite 35 and puts it on, like, in the bucket, right? Drops it right into him. I have a serious question for you. If he does that against, who were they? Was it Ball State? Ball State last year?
Green.
Bowling Green. If he does that against Bowling Green last year, if he hits one of those against Pitt and never goes down, how different is this narrative about our quarterback situation?
Wow, dude. If he's doing that consistently, then
I'm
you're
not even
about...
saying consistently, because we are talking about an inferior opponent. I'm just saying
that's true.
That's why I said, because
true.
In the Pitt game last year, he definitely missed 2.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Might have been 3, but
might have been. But if he's doing those things even semi-consistently, then you're getting that talk, that Levis and Richardson talk, because the throws are ridiculous and they're flicks of the wrist, taking nothing from him. And if that gets elevated into consistency or into mid-level throws, not just deep throws, if it gets, brought down into mid-level throws, accurately timed up, dude, he's exactly the reason you brought him in.
Yeah.
If he does that.
And if this is next year when we're talking about this, I cannot wait to see the TikToks from Nico.
Absolutely. I'm so ready for I'm not trying to get past Hendon. I'm just so excited, dude, for that battle. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah. So, I mean, Milton has definitely put on a show in his in his garbage time. All right, let's talk special teams just for a second. I got something that makes me angry. We've gone 3 games now where we've almost won, where we allowed a punt block. Ball State almost did it, and now Akron almost did it, and we're not adjusting.
Yeah. What is Eckler doing? What's he doing?
I'm not real sure. If you have to go into a max, max protect. You need to do that because Florida is I guarantee you Napier is looking at this going, okay, if we're going to win this game, we're going to have some defensive plays and we're going to have some special teams plays. And he's looking at the film and he's going, there it is. There's our opportunity. Let's go block a punt.
Yep. We've heard players say things before like, I knew we were going to block that punt. Yep. I knew we were going to do it. Yep. And if like every team's saying that about Tennessee right now, like when they watch special teams footage, and it's Tennessee week for them, they're saying, yeah, absolutely. We're going to block every punt they have if they're not going to adjust. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've not been in a meeting. I've not been on the field. I don't know what we're doing.
And I have a better option. You ready for this? Let Milton take the snap from 12 yards deep, right? And just throw it as high as he possibly can and let him pick it off.
Yeah. Or it's a jump ball situation. We catch it first down.
I mean, no doubt. So we've got to get that fixed, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, it's a 63-6 win on paper against an extremely inferior opponent. We got on them early. Should have been earlier since McGrath missed a field goal, which I have a feeling we're going to need him next week. Hope we don't. But if this game is any kind of indicator of the past, we're going to need him unless we just score, 38 unanswered.
Hopefully we start the game with 38 unanswered and they don't ever score. But yeah, we'll see when we get there.
I am fine with that. Tennessee fans, be aware of the curse of the backup quarterback. All right. Be aware of that. Don't know who it is, but be aware. What are you going to say?
Could be a very alive and well if Richardson starts the way that he's played in games.
I mean, if you're Napier and that coaching staff, you're looking at him going, the talent's there, but the production is not. Do 100%. We need to sit him a drive or two and, let I don't know who their backup is. Whoever
Jack Miller is one. I can't think of the other name.
But dude's hurt, is he not?
He may be hurt.
Okay.
I'll have some names and I'll have some numbers for you in our OrangeCast preview in this game.
Okay, sounds good. Well, this is an OrangeCast on Akron. So any closing statements on this Tennessee Akron game?
Just to touch on one thing that we've talked about and briefly said in our weekend review, you like that Florida could be saying that we didn't play our best, but we won that game against USF. And also you don't like them to lose 2 games in a row in a situation like this. I just hope that Tennessee's not saying we can not play our best and win because we've yet to play our best, frankly.
That's very fair. Here's my closing remark. Rumor on the street was that LeBron James was in the house for this game. I sure hope he was, and I sure hope he watched us get into the end zone time and time again. But we don't want anything to do with you.
Agreed. Sorry, Bronny.
We don't go to Ohio State. Go do the things. I'm not real sure why he was there, but still haven't confirmed that. Needless to say, this was Tennessee Akron special OrangeCast. I say special because it's special anytime we talk the Vols. Thank you guys so much for listening in. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on Pandora. We're in all the places. If we're not in all the places where you find your podcast, let us know. You can email us at pandemoniumreigns@gmail.com and let us know. In the meantime, the greatest way that you can say thank you is by clicking the subscribe button, clicking the like button on YouTube, clicking the share button, and sending it to your friend. I want you to think of a friend right now. Think of them. Get you in the forefront of your mind and send them Pandemonium Reigns because we love to tickle ears. Give them a little celebration, hand clappy thing. I don't know. If you're watching on YouTube, it makes sense. If you're not, then I'll look, you probably think I'm an idiot. Anyway, whatever. Thank you so much for listening. You could have been anywhere, but you were with us. It's several days until Tennessee, Florida, but we will meet you guys again on Friday to talk about it. Until then, have a fantastic week and go Vols.
Go Vols, baby. See ya.
Bye.
Pandemonium Reigns.